EGM Network.
Welcome to Scout at Treasure Coast. I'm the owner-editor of the Scout Guide Treasure Coast. On Scout at Treasure Coast, we highlight business owners, artisans, and community stewards on the Treasure Coast. Today, we're going to be talking about surfaces. And in that, I mean Surfaces Design Studio, Amy Flickinger, the owner, creative designer.
Yes.
Yes. So welcome, Amy. Thank you for coming. So it's Amy and Amy today.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you. Thank you for coming.
Of course.
So you've been at it Surfaces has been here for 20 years, become an institution in Vero Beach.
Yes.
So tell me about how you got started in the business.
Ooh. So I was 19.
Okay.
And I had a baby at 17.
Okay.
And I was looking for a job.
Are you from here?
From Fort Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah, from St. Lucie County. And I had a friend who was in the flooring business, and she was offered a job in Vero. And she lived almost in Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
So she said, "Do you want to go interview for it?" So I said yes. So I drove up to Vero and I met my East Coast tile, which was my first tile position. And I completely lied and said that I knew how to read a plan and I knew color and I knew flooring. And I didn't. I just really wanted the job. And so he hired me. And then he figured out in about a week that I didn't know anything. It took a couple days, to figure out that I didn't know. And I was trying to learn at home and I took a blueprint and he just said, "I love your tenacity and your will, so I'll teach you." Okay. And so he was ended up being a great mentor. And I spent multiple years with him learning the industry. And I figured out very quickly that I knew color and that I knew how to put things together. And then my boss was teaching me the technical on the back end of it. But I just really found something that I was good at. And I was young and I, hadn't really found anything that really clicked for me. And it did. It clicked. So that's how I started. And I started working. He was a distributor of tile and materials. And so I got to work with the installers, the contractors, and I got to work with everyone and the designers. Right. And so it just fit really quick and I loved it. So that's how it kind of ramped off.
So, so what was it, do you think, other than like putting the colors together, that was like the number one thing that you really did, working with the owners, or?
It was actually, there's many hands to bring a project through to completion. So it was that every day changed who I was dealing with on the same project. And so you're really connected to everyone, whether it's the client, the homeowner's representative, the designer, the architect, the general contractor, or the installer's helper who's picking up the grout. Like, you're connected to every single person through the project from the time it's on paper to the very end when you're seeing it completed. Right. It was just very rewarding. Like, I'd never had anything where I was connected to so many people and to see something created from paper all the way through.
And it changed every day. So
every day. It still changes every day.
Yeah, right. So
it still changes. Yeah.
So when do you think, how long were you there?
Maybe 4 years.
Okay.
And then I knew that it was something that I was going to do. And so, I don't want to say it was a man's industry. Well, but construction I think in general was a man's. And so for me to get out of the showroom and out into the field was a big no-no then. I was 22, 23 at that point.
That was unheard of, really. Yeah.
And I wanted to really see it happening in the field. I wanted to understand every level. Just had a real hunger for the trade.
Well, that's how you're going to learn.
Yeah, and a respect for the craft and listening to the installers at the showroom and trying to understand how it went from paper, how certain things you would do on paper wouldn't work in the field.
Well, that's funny how that works, right?
So it's like the engineer and I never saw it. Right, I never saw it out there, so I couldn't. So I really started looking for a place that would let me go out into the field. So I went to another tile store with the promise that I would go out into the field, and it never happened. It was another 3 or 4 years of working for another tile store in town. And I updated their studio. I brought in things, like every step was growth. found other vendors. There was a lot of things lacking back then in the industry that we didn't have here in Vero. Like we were late to the party.
Like, what do you think? What would you say that was?
It was the creative part. It was the beautiful mosaics, the handmade materials. It was finding all the things out that were out in the marketplace weren't really here. We were doing like 4x4 and 6x6 on the walls and only a few handmade tiles.
So how did you break that? So how did you get out there? What were some of the things that you did?
Well, I convinced my second boss to let me go to the trade shows because my first boss wouldn't let me. So the second boss I convinced to let me go and start hunting for products.
Where would you go?
There's trade shows, whether they're in Orlando, Vegas, Atlanta, that just like the furniture, they go to market, but ours are in different states. So we would go to those and convince them to buy into lines, which was very difficult. Everyone wanted just to sell the big stuff, not really focus on the littler things. But the littler things make it all come together.
Correct.
So
more personal, more
right. And I had a girlfriend that was in the industry. We worked together at this next place, and we were there for a couple, but we couldn't get out. Getting us out into the field was not an option, no matter how much you worked for it. So then I left there and went to work for a woman who bought a tile store. And I approached her when she bought it and asked if she was looking for anyone. And this is what my goal was. Within the next 5 years, I want to open my own business, but I need to learn the industry. I need to learn out in the field. Right. And so she hired me and said, yes, come. And she did let me go out in the field. And I worked for her for a few years and then took the big leap. Okay, so it was about 13, maybe 10? 10, 13 years before. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, and obviously you just said, now's the time.
I knew that I wanted to, but there wasn't a specific day that I knew that I needed to learn the field. And then I was learning the field and I was single. And by this point I have like a teenager. And there's no one to catch me if I fall. Right. So what was it that made you pull the plug and just say, I'm going? I had a mentor in the industry who was a contractor, and I would visit, I was working on his projects, and he just kept saying, I had two mentors, Allie, but one of them was very pushy. You have what it takes. You need to do it. Yeah. And I would just, the fear, right? The fear of falling, the fear of not being able to pay my mortgage. Fear of the unknown, too. Fear, and I knew my trade, but I didn't really understand business that well. So, finally, he just kept pushing and telling me that you're going to make it. Just do it. Yeah. And I had two builders, him and another contractor, that kept saying that, we'll give you our work. You'll have work. And it was just, finally one day I would just said, I'm going to do it. It was after hurricanes. And there was this in 2004, 5. Yeah. And a lot of the contractors were not being taken care of because there was so much work. Yeah. So I thought, well, now's the time just to focus on the contractors. I don't need all that extra work. I just need to focus on my main people. So I'll jump. So what was the first thing you did when you opened the business? Like, what were the first lines that you said, if you want to name names or, specific products, whether it's, the porcelain or handmade tiles or... Yeah, some of those lines I still have today. Okay. Because I do believe business is based on relationships. Absolutely, so it is. Yeah, it's a relationship business. It is. Yeah. And so some of those lines, people that came with me, and other lines I had to earn. I had to prove myself. So it was like starting over. Right. It's starting from the ground. Correct. And building up. So I had to prove that I had a studio. My first studio was much smaller, so I didn't have the space for it. So it was only when I moved into a bigger studio, which was about year 4, that I was able to really focus on bringing in lines. Then from there, I was an installation company when I started Surfaces. Okay. So that started getting... Did you go out in the field still? Oh, yeah. Okay. I wore every hat. Forklift. Oh, yeah. Well, receiving. Yeah. Cleaning. Yeah. Delivery girl. Yeah. Showroom meetings, like you name it. I did it until I could build a team. And so slowly I built a team. I was the youngest one when I started the business and in the business. And then as I built the business, we got bigger, we moved into a bigger space. And then I started really realizing that although we're an installation company, I'm the youngest one.
Right.
These guys are going to retire out ahead of me. So what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I had a real love for the craft, but I started really understanding how much I loved materials and specifying materials and working with people one-on-one and establishing a relationship. So how do I could see this need that wasn't being filled. So then I decided to step out of installation and move into just specifying and selling material. And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because I built the business on the installer.
Yeah.
And then letting all the installers, become independent and contractors and move to other companies. And then the people that I competed with, I'm now asking to buy from me. Other installation companies in town. So there was there was another change, but it was a welcoming change for me. And so then we started building in that direction, which opened up a tremendous amount of other opportunity for the company, other lines that we could carry that we couldn't carry as an installation company. So it was like, you can't keep one foot in each.
Yeah, no, you
have to,
eventually you have to jump.
Right. So
Right.
that was the second big change of the business. And that was probably 8-10 years ago.
What do you think, if you had to, what is your favorite product to work with if you just had to pick one?
Anything reclaimed.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I love a story.
So did you learn how to do wood flooring too?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Wow.
yes.
Because that's that's like a whole separate thing
It
from
is.
tile.
It is. But I love wood floors. So I love real wood floors.
Yeah, that's what I was about to, that's what
yeah. And so, when the industry's changing, was always changing. So when I started in the industry, everything was either porcelain or stone, natural stone. All your main floors, indoor, outdoor, everything was stone. But it slowly started moving into wood floors. So seeing that, okay, well, now I need to go learn about wood floors.
Right. Yeah.
Now I need to figure out, because now all the interiors are turning into wood floors, and they still are. That's been strong for, I would say, 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
All of our main floors are typically wood, whether it be sand and finish. So we have, custom finishes that we can do. But then the pre-finished floors used to look really fake. They look plasticky. People would come in and say, I want a wood floor. I don't want laminate. Well, there's a difference between laminate, pre-finished, and solid wood. So learning that industry, and we still now having custom lines of wood floors, just like we do stone.
Okay.
We have wood floors that solely come from Europe.
So in the design process, obviously it's from the start to finish. What would you say you think, there's probably a lot, but what would be the most rewarding?
Most rewarding. Being stretched.
Okay.
Your
creativity.
Being stretched by architect, by what they want, a design team, working with, it's very rewarding to work with the same architects.
Yeah.
Because you establish this relationship and you really know each other. And so then you have this entire group moving through a product, whether all the different finishers,
right?
Not just me working and creating something, but it's also when they decide to do something different and they are, stretching you and you don't know if it's going to work, or you're doubting it from the studio looking at it and you're thinking, I don't know about this. I don't know if this is, and working through that process and then seeing it happen, on the back end, or with an architect and a designer, working with them. And then, because you're only seeing a part of the vision. Right. So then you get to see the full vision, oh, now it makes sense. No, this is amazing.
Right.
So being stretched, I say.
So with surfaces, it's by appointment only, and that's obviously on purpose.
Very intentional.
Yeah. And can you explain, I think you just explained it, but it's basically because the process is so
intentional.
And by person, because everybody's different. Everybody has different what they want or what they think.
Some people can see it clearly and some people can't see it at all.
Right.
So the by appointment hasn't always been that way. It was a few years back that, pivoting in the industry, making decisions that were based on what I was seeing. And it's just, everything moves so fast. Everything is just so fast. And so we're not fast. We want to be dedicated to our projects. We want to spend time. And so here you are sitting at a table with a designer, an architect, a client that's flown in for 4 days to do all of their selections and work with you. and yet someone's walking on the front door and they want to do a backsplash and they want, you can't take care of everybody. And then they're getting frustrated and then your appointment's getting frustrated. So we just decided, you know what, we're going to go by appointment only. People can walk in and look around, but we don't, unless we want to be dedicated to people when they come in. We want to establish a relationship. Which
is why you've been able to stay in business. So what do you think is like, can you tell us some of the trends, right now?
Trends are leash. I think it's leash, however you want to say it.
Can you tell the audience what's Zalish?
It's just a handmade tile, very irregular, very imperfect, whether it be in the neutrals or the bold colors, mosaics, patterns. It's beautiful. I think social media and seeing it everywhere kind of blew it up.
Okay.
And so,
where does it come from? I mean, because Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Spain, Italy, different locations. Now, of course, there's the original ones, and now there's all the knockoffs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we try to stick with the originals, so we don't have as much, or the seconds. There's a lot of seconds online. But that's a popular trend. I think we're seeing more clean lines, large, so it's either really small or really big. There's nothing really in between anymore.
Okay. So it's gone back to like the square.
4x4 and 6x6 squares are coming back. Creams and neutrals and textures are coming back. For a while, we were just seeing really clean lines, fairly large format, getting bigger and bigger. You try carrying around you have 24x48 and then 32x78, trying to lug those things around the studio. Wood went from 3-inch to 5-inch to 7-inch to 9-inch to 10-inch to now 12 and 14-inch wide. I mean, everything's getting bigger. And then you go from that to bathrooms where it's itty bitty tiny mosaics on the floor.
So why do you think that is? I mean, do you have any, where it would be, maybe clean lines to not have?
Yeah, less busy.
Okay.
I mean, wood floors used to be rustic grade, wire brushed, a lot of knots. Now they're very clean, quiet, wider, less movement, less knots. Select grade versus character grade. Just everything's getting quieter.
Interesting. And colors? I mean, they're sticking with the neutral kind of stuff.
Yeah, gray is out.
Gray is out.
Gray is out.
Okay.
No one's asking for gray.
That's interesting. Yeah. Because like 2 years ago, that's all anybody wanted was gray.
I mean, we have our staples. We have our Carrara, our Calcutta marble, which is a staple. They've been around forever, but we're seeing the creams come back. Everything's not as white. I mean, for us, white, blue, green, colors of the sky, the ocean are constant for us. Okay. They're constant. But we are seeing warmth come back as well.
So how do you see, I mean, obviously, we're on the Treasure Coast, which we're in an area that is probably the, where the population is still, growing every day. Are you seeing that too every day?
Yes. Yes.
Trends, as far as, still, coming from down south and going to the coast, or they're just coming from everywhere?
I mean, what client is moving here?
Yeah.
I would say the most that we see is Connecticut.
Okay.
New Jersey, New York.
So they're still coming.
They're still coming.
All right.
A lot of Canadians.
Really? That's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. We've had, I think in the past month, we've had 4 or 5 sets of Canadians that have come in. But I would say Connecticut and New Jersey would be our top that we hear.
Wow. Okay. And you've had a really busy season like everybody else.
Yes. Yeah, we're right here before it slows down. So we're in that busy crunch before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it Mother's Day or Memorial Day, you think now?
Mother's Day for us more. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we stay busy. We go from being in appointments to doing all the work behind the appointments.
Right, right.
So our roles just kind of change.
So what are you going to do for Mother's Day?
I'm going on the boat.
Oh, you are?
I'm going on the boat with my mom.
Okay.
I'm taking my mom and my daughter on the boat. Yeah, we're all going out fishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we, before we came on, we talked a little bit about your husband. So when did he come in the picture with your business?
I want to say year 2 or 3. 2 or 3 is when he came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in the fire department. Now he's retired, but then he was on the fire department and he owned a gym.
Okay.
And it was actually somebody in the tile industry, our mutual friend that
Okay.
introduced us.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's always been a part of the wood floor finishing
Oh, okay.
division. And he still is my sounding board. Still, he brings a calmness. You know, being from the fire department, you see
Yeah.
real tragedy.
Right.
So when
You're like, this isn't a tragedy.
we're not saving lives.
Exactly.
Amy, we're not saving
Yeah,
lives. You're going to be
exactly.
okay.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so he can always calm anyone down. He just has a very calming sense about him. And he also comes in and helps anybody in the team solve problems.
Okay.
And it helped me be a better leader, helped me
Sure.
be a better manager. One of the main things he taught me in the very beginning was that I could ask any question. And I know that sounds like, well, of course you should know that, but not really. I always tried to act like I knew.
Right.
He's like, no,
Right.
ask as many questions until you do know.
Right.
So that was like very important in the beginning.
Right. And you're going to be building a house.
We're going to take on a big adventure. We're going
Okay.
to build a house in the Bahamas in Green Turtle.
So are you
we love-
starting this summer?
He is.
Okay.
Yes. He's going to.
He is starting.
Once you see the Bahamas and you've been over there, you realize you have to be there if you're going
Yeah,
to build something.
yeah, yeah,
So he's
so
going to
Sending
build
him off to camp.
send him to Green Turtle Camp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to go to Green Turtle Camp.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, somebody has to be
So,
at the
yeah,
store. Yeah. So what kind of things, are you thinking about in the future? I mean, obviously every entrepreneur, you can't stay locked in time. You have to be thinking about what's going on, what's going to be in the future.
So I just did a luxury summit with one of my dealers, and we went to listen to them speak about the future. And what was really interesting is what they challenged me with is, how am I going to be selling online?
Really? So you think you're going to go to
Well, no, I wasn't at all. But the younger, generations, they're buying online. That if we're not going to be selling online, that we're going to be behind the ball, or at least be able to present everything to them online, because we're more about touching and feeling and putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of set me back a little bit that I hadn't already thought of that. So I'm not sure what I'm doing, but like the 25-year-old that's going to be buying and building when they're 30, they're going to expect to do it online.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you'll have to end up doing something online where they can put their own, almost like building a car.
Kind of, yes. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I mean, my daughter owns a marketing company,
Right.
and I've been talking to her about that as well.
She does like the digital stuff, right?
Like how, because
So
that's something where I'm not strong.
well, she can do it.
Yeah. So how are we going to do this where we can set up these? Because during COVID, we would have Zoom calls with clients if
Right.
they couldn't come in, and it never worked because when they saw it in person, they didn't like it.
Because they need to feel it.
So I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work and if we're going to do it, but it was part of the Summit Luxury Conference was about the generations coming up you would have to be able to do it online.
It's interesting because I feel like, some of them too. I mean, I know this with my son, I have a 16-year-old, used to everything was online.
Right.
But now he does like to go to the store to see things. Not everything, but
Right.
So I guess it depends on, what's important to them or how they
Right.
see,
And for me, we don't want to lose that client.
Right.
So
Oh,
how are we
absolutely.
going to be accessible to them? We're still going to always have the client that wants to come in. I mean, I'm a believer of touching it, feeling it, being part of it, creating it. But how are we going to access that client that doesn't want to come in? That's the next step.
Maybe because they're busy or whatever, working or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's just something that they're not, that
Yeah.
interested in.
I mean, we have people call us. It's already happening from social media posts, and they'll say, I'm in wherever, I'm in Atlanta, and I love this post. I want to buy this product. I'm always a nervous wreck. I'm like, that's a natural product. How are we going to sell it and ship it? But it works. They do. You give them photos, you send them samples, and then they buy it. And it's off of a social media post. So that does happen. We're not set up for it all the time. We're not set up. We can't be as fast as clicking it and buying
So
it.
you have to change to the e-commerce kind of,
Right.
have to have
And I'm
that.
not saying I am. It's at the beginning stages. It was a real challenge for me to hear that and think, I'm going to have to approach this and figure this out.
Did they have anything else? I mean, was there any other things that were big takeaways from that?
That was the biggest takeaway for me, was online buying and online or Zoom calls, and how we were going to be able to handle someone that never wanted to walk in the studio and be a luxury product and stay connected to them. Like, how do we do all of that online?
Interesting.
I don't have the answer. I mean, if you did, anybody hearing this does,
Probably,
please call me.
you know, I'm sure AI is going to have a big
Right.
part of that, and how it gets put together, and how,
Which is another
how that-
challenge.
Right.
When people come in and take
because
pictures.
AI is not always right.
It's not right. It's not always right. And they're missing that human element, and they're putting it together doesn't always work the way AI says it will. I mean, we get that all the time. Well, Claude said I could do this.
Yeah. Okay.
We're still needed.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
people.
Well,
Yeah.
so, that's a good thing, because
Yeah.
in today's world,
Yeah.
my son is going to be a junior next year. So it's almost like they say, think about something that you can do as an occupation that AI is not going to take away from you.
Right.
So I think that's why a lot of the trade jobs are coming back.
Thank goodness.
So, another point to that, because you have an installation team, so you still run your installation teams,
We only install wood floors now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
We really have separated ourselves we just can't do both and do them well. I mean, we have 2 tile employees that they've been with me from the very beginning, from
Right.
day one.
Right.
So as long as I have surfaces, I will try to keep them working.
Right.
But they do more repair and small things that no one else wants. And it's amazing how much they can do with that we can do. So we're not competing against the people that we're selling to.
Okay. Yeah. So that was part
That's
of
a
it.
big
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Because you had to evolve that way.
Right.
So besides the, trying to sell online and how you're going to present the job.
Yeah.
What other, that you yourself, besides going to the conference, do you think, down the road?
I think just getting better at what we do and always sourcing better material, finding materials. I mean, it's a challenge with everything going on in the world.
Well, that's what I was going to ask is how, how has it been sourcing your materials?
So there have been challenges. Luckily, we don't buy from everyone, because if we keep our, instead of having 40 vendors, we have less vendors so that we have strong relationships. So we can lean on them and what they're doing. But we have had price increases and delays that ships that can't get here, that have been a challenge. So looking for other products that are made in the USA, like we're interviewing a dealer, supplier that's coming in today.
Okay.
All their ceramics are made in the USA.
Okay.
So we're interviewing and sitting down with them to see what the products are, because
you'll be able to get it here.
Right. And we always want to try and sell from the USA or from Europe.
Right.
So like more that we can have. And also fine tuning and hiring new designers to work in the studio has always, we're branching out and getting not bigger, but just getting more detailed and having more people available.
Do you still find that a lot of the materials still comes from Europe?
Not as much.
Okay.
It's a challenge. So it'll say it's from Europe. It'll say made in Europe.
Right.
But when you dig into, well, what is made in Europe? Well, the log is made in Europe, the tree is cut in Europe, and then it's sent to China, and then it's sent to Cambodia. Okay, well, it's not made in Europe.
That's right.
The tree grew in Europe.
Yeah.
So it's more with hardwood floors. You have to follow the path.
Okay.
To find. And we went through this about 2 years ago where we really followed the path, and it was like
I would have never known.
85%.
I would have never even thought about that, but now that you're saying it, I can totally see what the problems would be.
Right. And so then you Google Earth the manufacturing plant, and it's in China.
Right.
Like, okay, well, the box says made in Europe.
Yeah.
So we've had
and then
to
you
really
wonder what products are
right
really in the wood or what they used.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions that go into that. We do have products that are made specific only in Europe, only in Spain, and they're a higher price point. So we try to separate. We have a room devoted to products that are just made in Europe or made in the USA.
Yeah.
As far as wood floors.
Okay. And then tiles, is it?
Same thing. Well, that's easier. It's a lot easier to follow that path.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more difficult with wood.
So, and we're getting ready to wrap up here, but if you had, if you met somebody or you wanted to, someone that's listening or watching, what would be your advice to them if they were going to, thinking about getting into, they were going to be renovating or redoing their house, what would be some of your advice that you would say, like keeping an open mind, from the start to the finish?
What advice? Stay calm.
Stay calm.
Stay calm. Start early. Really, the most important thing is picking the team that's going to help assist you. That's really important. And the best person might not be the right person for you.
Right.
It's like, who do you connect to?
Okay.
Who do you feel comfortable sitting with, talking about just life in general,
Right.
also, because
Right.
that's the person that's going to be with you
Right.
from the beginning. And hire a designer. A lot of people don't want to hire a designer in the very beginning, and they get about halfway through and then realize, oh no, I need one.
Yes.
But if you have that team around you from the very beginning, the vision that you don't have or the things you can't see clearly, they do.
Right. Because
Yeah, and they're going to bring you straight. It just makes it easier on you. It's like hitting the easy button to have a team.
Right.
And a good general contractor. I mean, that's equally as important.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, all three. Those are the three major components in a successful installation or a project.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in and taking the time to come in today. Everybody, Amy Flickinger, Surfaces Design Studio on US 1. On the website, it's surfacesdesignstudio.com. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. And please, any other questions or anything about the Scout Guide, please go to thescoutguide.com or Instagram or Facebook at thescoutguide.com, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thanks.